Let's be honest. Fast English can be intimidating. Native speakers compress sounds, drop syllables, and glue words together until whole phrases sound like single beats. There's also the speed itself. It's one thing to process clean, slow speech. It's another to parse the same ideas when they come at you at 160 or 180 words per minute. Add background noise, overlapping voices, idiomatic phrases you haven't seen before, and a speaker's natural accent, and the task looks even harder. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to. Understanding fast English is mostly an ear training problem, not a grammar or intelligence problem. Your brain can learn to recognize the patterns of reduced speech, linking sounds, and typical native shortcuts. You just need targeted practice and the right strategies.
Understanding fast English is not magic. It's not about some secret talent or special ability that only a few people have. It's about training your ears every single day.
That's what this episode is for. Before we jump into the listening tests, let me quickly describe the rhythm of this episode so there are no surprises. Hello and welcome back to English Talk Show. I'm Peter, and today we're doing something a little fierce, a little fun, and absolutely worth your time. We're going to train your ear to understand fast, natural English. If you've ever sat in front of a movie or scrolled through a TV series and felt your brain stall because the actors just fly by with their words, or if you can follow a lesson in class but real conversations still feel like a blur, you're in the right place. Over the next 15 minutes of this introduction, I'll set the tone, give you practical tips for how to listen like a native, and explain exactly how this episode works so you get the most out of every clip we play. I want this to feel like a friendly, no-pressure training session, a place where mistakes are expected and useful, where you don't have to hide your confusion, and where every missed word becomes a new clue for improvement. We'll work through 5 listening tests, each one based on a short, naturally delivered clip, real-sounding phrases you might hear on TV, in podcasts, or in everyday conversation. Each clip will be played twice. The first pass gives you a pure listening experience. The second pass helps you confirm details and gives you a second chance to catch anything you missed. After the 2 plays, I'll read the missing segments slowly and clearly so you can fill in the blanks. And then we'll dig into what made those parts tricky. For each test, I'll highlight specific pronunciation features, reductions, contractions, linking, even intonation. And I'll give you short vocabulary or grammar notes so you understand meaning and usage, not just sound. Finally, I'll give you a short drill or shadowing prompt so you can physically practice producing the fast forms yourself. In short, listen, attempt, check, analyze, practice. Repeat that process, and you'll notice your comprehension improving quickly.
Now, a few practical tips to get the most from these next clips. First, use headphones if you can. Good headphones help isolate the voice and reveal subtle reductions you might miss on phone speakers or laptop audio. Second, adjust your playback to a comfortable volume, and if your player allows, try the tiny speed adjustments. 0.95x or 1.05x can make a surprising difference without making the voice sound unnatural. Third, don't be afraid to pause between plays. This isn't a test you need to ace in one pass. It's a training session. If you want to listen to the clip 3 or 4 times before I reveal the answers, do it. Fourth, Have a pen and a small notebook or the Notes app on your phone ready. Write down the words you think you heard. Mark unfamiliar vocabulary and jot down the specific sound changes you notice. Writing helps the ear and brain lock in patterns faster than passive listening alone. Let's talk about what makes native fast speech sound so different. There are a few predictable patterns that repeat across speakers and situations. The first is reduction. Function words like articles, prepositions, and auxiliary verbs are often unstressed and shortened. For example, going to often reduces to gonna, but it can also sound like gna, or even compress further depending on speed and context. Want to becomes wanna, and have to can sound like have to. Another pattern is linking, where the final sound of one word connects to the initial sound of the next. Look at it can sound like look at it. Contractions and cliticization are common. I have becomes I've. She will becomes she'll. And would have is often would've, which can easily be mistaken for would of if you're not listening for the reduced vowel. Then there's assimilation, where adjacent consonants merge or alter each other. That book can sound like the book if the T and B influence each other. Finally, rhythm and stress patterns mean content words carry the meaning, while function words skim by almost invisibly. Your ear needs to learn to latch on to those content word anchors to reconstruct meaning. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by the terminology. You don't need to memorize fancy phonetics to get better. You need to experience these patterns and respond to them. During each listening test, I'll point out one or two of these features in a very practical way and give you a short drill. The drills are simple. Repeat the phrase after me at slow speed, then at natural speed, then try to mimic the reduced form. This kind of active repetition, sometimes called shadowing, trains your muscles and your ear at the same time. It's the fastest way to internalize reduced forms, so they stop sounding like random noise and start sounding like meaningful chunks. Even 5 minutes of focused shadowing per day will make a noticeable difference in a few weeks.
Here's how to approach the fill-in-the-blank task mentally. When you hear the clip for the first time, don't panic about every word. Instead, listen for the overall meaning and try to catch anchor words, nouns, verbs, or specific adjectives that give you context. On the second listen, focus on the gaps you couldn't fill and try to decide whether the missing word is a content word or a function word. If it's a function word, chances are it was reduced and might sound like a short vowel or even an unstressed schwa. If it's a content word, the speaker likely intended it to be clearer, unless they intentionally swallowed it. After I read the correct answers slowly, pause and replay the clip again, and listen for how the sounds blend. With each step, you're training your ear to move from "I hear noise" to "I hear language patterns." To make this introduction a little interactive, let's do a tiny warm-up exercise right now. I'll say 3 example phrases at a natural conversational pace, and then I'll repeat them slowly and show you the reduced forms. Say the fast versions out loud after me. Don't worry about perfection, just mimic the rhythm and sound. First, I'm going to call you later. Fast, I'm going to call you later. Slow and clear, I am going to call you later. Notice how going to compresses. Second, do you want to come with me? Fast, do you want to come with me? Slow and clear, do you want to come with me? Third, we have to finish this tonight. Fast, we have to finish this tonight. Slow and clear, we have to finish this tonight. Say each fast version 2 or 3 times, then try to say the slow, clear version and the fast version back to back. Feel the mouth shape change and the speed of the vowels shorten. That physical feeling is important. It helps your brain map sound to muscle movement. A short note on vocabulary and grammar in these clips. We will focus mostly on everyday conversational language, phrases, idioms, and common collocations that native speakers use casually. I'll also point out any grammar structures that are worth noticing in context, but my goal is to help you understand how grammar looks and sounds in rapid speech, rather than turning this into a grammar lecture. For instance, when speakers use be worth plus ing, or level with someone, or get the scoop, I'll explain meaning and how people use the phrases naturally and give you quick examples so you can try them in your own sentences. Understanding meaning reduces the guessing game. When you know a phrase is commonly used in a certain context, your ear and brain can predict it and catch it faster, even when the speaker is fast.
I also want to give you a short list of practical steps to follow while we go through each test. A little checklist you can keep in mind so your practice is efficient. 1. Listen to the first playthrough uninterrupted to get the gist. 2. On the second playthrough, focus on the blanks and try to catch the missing words. 3. Write your answers down quickly and don't overthink them. 4. Listen to my slow revelation and repeat it out loud. 5. Do the short shadowing drill I give you. 6. If a word or phrase still feels unclear, replay the clip once or twice and try saying the line as best you can. Even a rough attempt helps. If you follow that checklist for each of the 5 tests, you'll be doing targeted, active listening the whole hour, which is much better than passive exposure. Finally, let's set the right mindset. Learning to catch fast speech is an iterative process. You will miss things, and that's good. Missing is how you discover what your ear hasn't learned yet. Celebrate the words you do catch and be curious about the ones you miss. Repeat the episode as many times as you need. Later on, when you feel more confident, go back and test yourself again to measure progress. And remember this line. I want you to keep it close while we work. Don't worry if you miss words. This is a safe place to practice. Say it out loud. Write it at the top of your notes or record it on your phone. The moment you stop fearing mistakes is the moment your listening improves fastest. Okay, that's our warm-up and roadmap. Make sure your headphones are on, your volume is set, and your notes are ready. Relax your jaw. Breathe, and get curious. In just a few moments, we'll start listening test 1. A short, fast clip about getting ready for a big trip. You'll hear it twice, then we'll unpack the tricky parts, practice the reductions, and put the vocabulary into action. Ready? Let's go! If you want me to continue now, I'll roll the first clip. If you prefer to pause and prepare, do that now, and when you're ready, press play, and we'll begin.
Welcome to Listening Test 1. This first activity is meant to ease you into the process, but don't let the word ease fool you. The speech you are about to hear is completely natural, casual, and a little fast, exactly the way people actually talk in real life. The topic is one that most of us can relate to: getting ready for a trip. I want you to imagine you're talking to a friend who is describing the chaos of a last-minute rush before leaving for the airport. The voice in the recording speaks at a normal conversational speed without slowing down for learners, and you'll hear the natural hesitations, reductions, and word linking that can make this kind of English challenging. We'll start by listening to the clip once without stopping. Just let the words flow over you and see how much you can catch. Your goal on this first listen is not to understand every single word, but to focus on the overall message. Ask yourself, who is speaking? What's going on? When and where might this be happening? Treat it like you're listening in on a conversation in a coffee shop. You might not get every detail, but you can still get the general picture. Here's the first playthrough at natural speed.
I was trying to get my stuff packed last night, but then I realized I hadn't printed my boarding pass yet. So I had to dig out my laptop, wait for it to update, and by the time I finished, it was like 2 in the morning.
Take a moment to note down the words you recognized. Maybe you caught packing, boarding pass, laptop, 2 in the morning, and perhaps some connecting phrases like last night or realized. If there are gaps in your notes, places where the speech seemed to melt together, that's perfectly fine at this stage. We're going to listen to it again, still at natural speed. This time, focus on the parts you missed the first time. Pay attention to the fast, blended areas and try to identify those missing pieces. Second playthrough.
I was trying to get my stuff packed last night, but then I realized I hadn't printed my boarding pass yet. So I had to dig out my laptop, wait for it to update, and by the time I finished, it was like 2 in the morning.
Now, let's slow it down. Here's the same sentence, read with clear and careful pronunciation so you can hear each individual word.
I was trying to get my stuff packed last night, but then I realized I hadn't printed my boarding pass yet. So I had to dig out my laptop, wait for it to update, and by the time I finished, it was like 2 in the morning.
Hearing it slowed down makes the grammar more obvious, but notice how different it sounds compared to the natural version. In fast speech, trying to becomes tryin' to, with the G dropped and the to turning into ta. Had not loses the T in not and becomes hadn't. Had to becomes had to, with the D and T running together. Phrases like dig out and wait for it blend into single sound units. Dig out and wait for it, with no pauses in between. And in casual English, fillers like in it was like 2 in the morning
soften the statement and make it sound more conversational. The vocabulary here is practical and worth remembering. A boarding pass is the document, either paper or digital, that allows you to board a plane. Dig out means to find something that's buried under other things or stored away. Update is to install the newest version of software or data. The phrase "by the time" shows that something happened before or when another event occurred. And 2 in the morning is simply a casual way of saying 2 a.m. Let's practice the pronunciation together. First, the slow form, then the natural connected form. Trying to, tryin'ta. Had not, hadn't. Had to, hadta. Wait for it, wait for it. Now let's shadow the full sentence, first slowly and clearly. I was trying to get my stuff packed last night, but then I realized I had not printed my boarding pass yet, so I had to dig out my laptop, wait for it to update, and by the time I finished, it was like 2 in the morning. Then at normal conversational speed. I was trying to get my stuff packed last night, but then I realized I hadn't printed my boarding pass yet, so I had to dig out my laptop, wait for it to update, and by the time I finished, it was like 2 in the morning. Try repeating the natural version several times, keeping the reductions and smooth flow without over-enunciating. The key takeaway here is that you don't have to catch every single sound to understand the message. The main events here are clear: packing, realizing something is missing, printing the boarding pass, dealing with the laptop update, and ending up awake at 2 in the morning. Your brain will get better at catching those smaller reduced words with practice. But for now, focus on the core content words to stay anchored in the meaning. That completes listening test 1. You've heard the clip twice, compared fast and slow versions, learned common reductions, practiced pronunciation, and picked up some everyday vocabulary. In the next test, we'll push the difficulty further by adding more speed and background noise to make it feel even closer to a real conversation in the wild.
All right, welcome to Listening Test 2. In this round, we're going to raise the challenge just a little bit. The clip you'll hear is still conversational and natural, but the style of speech is slightly faster and the content has a twist. It's a short story that contains a surprise or confession. This kind of listening practice is great because it forces you not only to focus on the words, but also to pay attention to tone, pauses, and emphasis that signal something unexpected is about to happen. Imagine you're chatting with a friend over coffee and they suddenly lean in and tell you something they've never shared before. You can feel the energy shift. Maybe they even lower their voice a little, and you know the next thing they say will be important or surprising. That's exactly the kind of natural, emotional rhythm we're practicing here. For your first listen, I want you to focus on the big picture. Don't worry about catching every single word. That will come later. Just imagine yourself in the scene and try to grasp the mood and storyline. This is about understanding the essence before you dive into the details. First playthrough, natural speed.
So I was walking home yesterday after work, totally exhausted, and I suddenly realized I'd left my phone at the cafe. I ran back as fast as I could, but when I got there, it was gone. I was freaking out until I saw this old guy at the corner, holding it up, smiling, and saying, "I was just about to hand it in."
Take a moment now to think. What's the overall story here? Who's involved? What happened? And what's the surprise? You probably caught walking home, left my phone, ran back, gone, freaking out, and old guy holding it. But maybe you didn't hear all the connecting parts that explain how the events unfolded. That's completely normal for a first listen. Now let's play it again. This time, target the spots that were fuzzy the first time. You might catch extra details like how the person was feeling, the sequence of actions, and the exact words the old man said.
So I was walking home yesterday after work, totally exhausted, and I suddenly realized I'd left my phone at the cafe. I ran back as fast as I could, but when I got there, it was gone. I was freaking out until I saw this old guy at the corner, holding it up, smiling, and saying, "I was just about to hand it in."
Let's go through it slowly now, breaking down the pronunciation and reductions so you can hear each part clearly.
So I was walking home yesterday after work, totally exhausted, and I suddenly realized I'd left my phone at the cafe. I ran back as fast as I could, but when I got there, it was gone. I was freaking out until I saw this old guy at the corner holding it up, smiling, and saying, "I was just about to hand it in."
Now, listen to it again at full speed so you can compare.
So I was walking home yesterday after work, totally exhausted, and I suddenly realized I'd left my phone at the cafe. I ran back as fast as I could, but when I got there, it was gone. I was freaking out until I saw this old guy at the corner, holding it up, smiling, and saying, "I was just about to hand it in."
Notice a few important reductions and patterns here. Walking becomes walkin', dropping the G. I had turns into I'd, and going to would be gonna, though in this clip you hear about to, which often blends into abouta. Holding and smiling lose their G sounds too, which is extremely common in casual speech. Also, pay attention to how freaking turns into freakin', keeping the energy but smoothing the sound. There are some idiomatic expressions here that are worth noting. Freaking out means to panic or become very anxious. For example, she was freaking out when she couldn't find her keys. Hand it in means to give something to an authority or responsible person. For example, if you find a lost wallet, you should hand it in at the police station. And just about to means you were on the verge of doing something. For example, I was just about to call you when you texted me. Now let's look at the grammar in context. The phrase, "I had left my phone," uses the past perfect tense, which shows that this action happened before another action in the past. In conversation, had often becomes d and blends into the next word, making it easy to miss. Another interesting point is have to and gotta. In fast speech, have to becomes have to, and got to becomes gotta, both meaning an obligation. For example,
I have to go, I have to go. Or I've got to finish this, I gotta finish this. In our clip, you might imagine an alternative phrasing. I had to run back could become I hadda run back in casual conversation.
We'll finish with some guided fluency practice. First, repeat the slow form after me. So I was walking home yesterday after work, totally exhausted, and I suddenly realized I had left my phone at the cafe. I ran back as fast as I could, but when I got there, it was gone. I was freaking out until I saw this old guy at the corner holding it up, smiling and saying, I was just about to hand it in.
Now, try the natural conversational form.
So I was walking home yesterday after work, totally exhausted, and I suddenly realized I'd left my phone at the cafe. I ran back as fast as I could, but when I got there, it was gone. I was freaking out until I saw this old guy at the corner, holding it up, smiling, and saying, I was just about to hand it in.
Repeat the natural version 3 times, aiming for smooth linking between words, dropping unnecessary sounds, and keeping the rhythm natural. Don't overthink the pronunciation. Focus on the flow, just like you're telling the story to a friend. Listening to this kind of short, emotional story helps you develop not just your ear for English, but also your ability to feel the story as it unfolds. That emotional connection is what makes the language stick in your memory. By practicing with both slow and natural speeds, you're training your brain to handle the unpredictable pace of real conversation, where surprises, confessions, and casual slang often appear together. This is the kind of listening skill that will pay off the next time you're watching a show, chatting with native speakers, or even just overhearing conversations in public. You'll be able to catch not just the words, but the meaning, mood, and rhythm behind them. All right, welcome to Listening Test 3. In this round, we're shifting gears a little. Instead of a casual story or a surprising confession, you're going to hear a short reflection, the kind of personal thought or life goal someone might share in a quiet conversation, maybe over coffee or during a long walk. This is important listening practice because reflective speech often has a different rhythm. People may pause more often, speak in slightly longer sentences, and use vocabulary related to goals, self-improvement, and decision-making. However, in real life, even these thoughtful moments can still include reductions and casual linking, and that's exactly what we'll work on today. First, I want you to imagine you're talking to a friend who is thinking about making a big change in their life, maybe switching jobs, moving to a new city, or starting a new habit. They speak honestly, from the heart, but they're still talking at a natural, connected pace. Your job is to understand not just the words, but also the feeling and reasoning behind them. First playthrough, natural speed.
I've been thinking a lot lately about where I'm headed, you know? I want to spend more time on things that really matter, like traveling, learning new skills, and helping people. I guess I'm just tired of rushing through life without enjoying it.
After hearing that once, pause and ask yourself, what's the main idea? Did you catch the speaker's main goals? Did you notice any key feelings like tiredness, frustration, or excitement? Even if you missed some words, you probably caught pieces like thinking a lot lately, spend more time, things that really matter, traveling, learning new skills, helping people, and tired of rushing through life. That's already a strong base to build on. Second playthrough, natural speed.
I've been thinking a lot lately about where I'm headed, you know? I want to spend more time on things that really matter, like traveling, learning new skills, and helping people. I guess I'm just tired of rushing through life without enjoying it.
Now, let's slow it down and listen carefully to each word. Slow version, careful pronunciation.
I've been thinking a lot lately about where I am headed, you know? I want to spend more time on things that really matter, like traveling, learning new skills, and helping people. I guess I am just tired of rushing through life without enjoying it.
Notice how much more formal and clear that sounds. But in everyday conversation, most native speakers would naturally reduce certain words and link sounds together. I have been to I've been. Thinking to thinkin'. You know to you know. Want to wanna. Traveling to travelin'. Learning to learnin'. Helping to helpin'. Rushing to rush in. Enjoying to enjoyin'. This creates a smoother, faster flow that matches natural speech. Let's talk about the key vocabulary from this clip. Headed. In this context, where I'm headed means the direction my life is going or my future plans. Example, I'm headed to university next year. Things that really matter refers to priorities or values, the aspects of life that are most important to someone. Example, family and health are the things that really matter to me. Rushing through life, living in a constant hurry without stopping to enjoy the moment. Example, I don't want to rush through life and miss out on the little joys. Enjoying, taking pleasure in something. Example, she's really enjoying her new hobby. We also see decision-making vocabulary. I want to spend more time signals a choice to adjust how you use your time. I guess I'm just tired of expresses dissatisfaction, often the starting point for change. Now let's work on the reductions in detail. Repeat after me slowly, focusing on connecting the words naturally. I've been thinking a lot lately about where I'm headed, you know? I want to spend more time on things that really matter, like traveling, learning, and helping people. I guess I'm just tired of rushing through life without enjoying it. All right, here we are at listening test 4. In this round, you're going to hear a quick, lively clip where someone shares a curious tip, the kind of little-known trick you might hear from a friend who says, "Hey, you probably don't know this, but..." These kinds of tips are interesting because they often come in bursts of enthusiasm, with a lot of connected speech and some energetic intonation patterns. They can be challenging to catch at full speed, especially when the speaker uses idiomatic expressions or slang. That's exactly what we'll focus on here. Not only catching the words, but understanding the tone and rhythm that make this kind of spoken English sound natural.
Fluency practice, natural speed. Now say the whole thing at a natural conversational pace. keeping the reductions and rhythm smooth. I've been thinking a lot lately about where I'm headed, you know? I want to spend more time on things that really matter, like traveling, learning new skills, and helping people. I guess I'm just tired of rushing through life without enjoying it. Mini role play. Let's practice using some of these expressions in a role play. Imagine you're telling a friend about your own life goals. Try to include at least 2 reductions and 2 pieces of vocabulary from the list. For example, "So, what have you been up to lately?" "I've been thinking about making some changes. I want to focus more on things that really matter, like spending time with my family and traveling a bit more." Now, switch it up and answer with a different set of goals. "What's on your mind these days?" "Honestly, I guess I'm just tired of rushing through life. I want to slow down and enjoy the little things, you know?" By practicing reflective language like this, with natural reductions, clear key vocabulary, and realistic rhythm, you're training yourself to not only understand these deeper conversations in English, but also to participate in them comfortably. The more you hear and use expressions like wanna, headed, things that matter, and tired of rushing, the more natural they'll become in your own speech. This is the kind of skill that helps you connect on a personal level with native speakers, because reflection and goal setting are universal human experiences. The words may change, but the feelings are shared, and now you have the tools to express them in clear, natural English.
All right, here we are at Listening Test 4. In this round, you're going to hear a quick, lively clip where someone shares a curious tip, the kind of little-known trick you might hear from a friend who says, "Hey, you probably don't know this, but..." These kinds of tips are interesting because they often come in bursts of enthusiasm, with a lot of connected speech and some energetic intonation patterns. They can be challenging to catch at full speed, especially when the speaker uses idiomatic expressions or slang. That's exactly what we'll focus on here. Not only catching the words, but understanding the tone and rhythm that make this kind of spoken English sound natural.
First playthrough, natural speed.
Here's something most people don't realize. If you crank up your phone's brightness all the way before taking a photo outside, you'll actually get sharper colors in the picture. It's a tiny change, but it makes a big difference.
Now, after hearing that once, think, what's the main point? It's a photography tip. The speaker is giving advice about getting better color in outdoor photos. The phrase, "most people don't realize," signals that it's a little-known tip. The action is to crank up your phone's brightness. The result is sharper colors in the photo. Second playthrough, natural speed.
Here's something most people don't realize. If you crank up your phone's brightness all the way before taking a photo outside, you'll actually get sharper colors in the picture. It's a tiny change, but it makes a big difference.
All right, now let's slow it down. Slow version. Careful pronunciation.
Here is something most people don't realize. If you crank up your phone's brightness all the way before taking a photo outside, you will actually get sharper colors in the picture. It is a tiny change, but it makes a big difference.
Do you hear the difference? The slow version is clear, but a little stiff. In natural speech, native speakers use reductions and connected sounds to keep the pace flowing. Let's break down some of these connections. Here is, here's. Something, something. Do not, don't. Crank up. This phrasal verb stays as is, but is said quickly as one unit. Taking, take in. You will, you'll. It is, it's. Also notice linking sounds. Realize if. The M dash, pause, is short, and that if flows right in. Crank up your, with the y sound softened. Before taking a, sounds like before taking a in fast speech. Key vocabulary and expressions. Get the scoop means to find out the latest information or a secret detail. Example, I got the scoop on the new restaurant. It opens next week. Crank up, to increase something, usually in intensity or volume. Here it means increase the brightness. Example, crank up the volume. I can't hear the song. Sharpen colors, to make colors look more vivid and clear. Example, this filter sharpens the colors in your photo. Makes a big difference, has a strong effect or noticeable impact. Example, drinking enough water every day makes a big difference in how I feel. Identifying linked words activity. Listen again, imaginary playback, and try to spot where words join together or blend. For example, crank up your, with the y sound softened. Before taking a sounds like before taking a photo. Makes a big difference, makes a big difference. These connections make the sentence faster and smoother, but can also hide individual words. Recognizing them helps you decode fast speech in the real world.
Intonation practice. Now, this type of tip is often delivered with an up and down tone that keeps it engaging. Let's look at the intonation pattern. Here's something most people don't realize. Starts with a rise. Here's something. Slight fall on most people. Then rises again on don't realize to signal that something interesting is coming. If you crank up your phone's brightness all the way before taking a photo outside, you'll actually get sharper colors in the picture. Emphatic delivery on actually sharper colors. It's a tiny change, but it makes a big difference. Big rise and punch on big difference to sound excited and convincing. Let's practice. Repeat after me, slowly, then at natural speed. Slow. Here's something most people don't realize. Fast. Here's something most people don't realize. Slow. If you crank up your phone's brightness all the way. Fast. If you crank up your phone's brightness all the way. Slow. It's a tiny change, but it makes a big difference. Fast. It's a tiny change, but it makes a big difference. Your turn. Role play. Pretend you're giving your own curious tip to a friend. Use one of these patterns. Here's something most people don't know. If you tip, you'll result.
Most people don't realize this, but tip, it makes a big difference. Examples. Here's something most people don't know. If you store coffee beans in the freezer, you'll keep them fresh longer. Most people don't realize this, but turning off your apps at night can make your phone battery last much longer. It makes a big difference. By practicing tips with connected speech, idioms like get the scoop and crank up and lively intonation, you're learning to both catch and deliver fast, engaging English naturally. This is exactly how people share small but powerful advice in everyday conversations. And now you can too.
All right, here we are at Listening Test 5, our final challenge for today. This one's all about action. You'll hear a clip where something's happening right now, and the speaker has to make an immediate decision. In moments like this, English often shifts into short, punchy sentences with expressions that signal urgency or excitement. The pace speeds up, the tone gets sharper, and certain phrases are delivered with extra energy to motivate people to act. We'll work on hearing every word clearly, rebuilding the full sentence after listening, and then practicing the energy and rhythm so you can sound confident and ready for action yourself. First playthrough, natural speed.
All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll.
Second playthrough, natural speed.
All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll.
Now, after hearing it twice, try to reconstruct it. Think about the sequence. There's a call to attention, all right, team, then an announcement of importance, this is it, followed by a sense of urgency, we've got one shot to make this work, and finally, a command to move into action. Grab your gear and let's roll. Write down or say out loud what you remember. Even if you miss words, try to get the structure. This is good practice for catching the message even when speech is fast.
All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll.
In natural speech, though, the words contract and link. We have got becomes we've got. Let us becomes let's. Grab your becomes grab your. This is it is said quickly, almost as visit. Breakdown of reductions and linking sounds. All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll. All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll. Key vocabulary for quick action. It's go time means the moment to start has arrived. Example, we've been preparing all week and now it's go time. Let's roll, a motivating way to say, let's start moving or let's begin. Example, we've got a lot to do before sunset, so let's roll. We've got one shot to catch the sunset before the clouds move in. Grab your gear, we're going to hike before the trail gets crowded. This is it. This is the important moment. Example, months of training for this race. This is it. Rhythm and energy in speech. Urgent moments in English. Use a driving rhythm. Notice in our clip. All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll. The rhythm is steady at the start, then accelerates after we've got one shot, and ends with a strong downbeat on roll. You can practice by clapping along with the stressed words. All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll. Practice. Slow, medium, fast. Slow, all right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll. Medium. All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll. Fast. All right, team, this is it. We've got one shot to make this work, so grab your gear and let's roll. Role play exercise. Now it's your turn to create your own urgent action sentence. You can use this structure: call to attention, statement of importance, plus clear instruction and action phrase. Examples: okay, everyone, the bus is here. Finish your drinks and let's roll. Or guys, we've got one chance. Pack up your things and meet me at the car. Or listen up, team, this is it. Put on your helmets. It's go time. When you say them, put emphasis on the action phrase. That's where the energy peaks. Final listening challenge. I'll give you 3 quick sentences at natural speed. Your job is to repeat them with the same energy. It's go time. Everyone to the starting line. We've got one shot at this. Don't hold back. Grab your gear. The clock's ticking. By mastering this type of urgent, energetic speech, you're not just training your listening skills, you're preparing yourself to react in real-world situations where every second counts. And now that we've finished all 5 tests, you can handle both the subtle, reflective tones of slower speech and the adrenaline-packed punch of quick, decisive English.
All right, here we are, the final stretch of today's session. We've gone through 5 listening tests, each one designed to challenge a different aspect of your English listening and speaking skills. In this final review, we're going to tie everything together, so you walk away not just remembering the vocabulary and expressions we've covered, but actually able to use them in your own conversations with confidence. Think of this part as polishing the tools you've collected, making sure they're sharp and ready for real-world use. Recap of key expressions and sounds. Over the course of the lesson, you've encountered a variety of phrases, idioms, and pronunciation patterns. Let's go back through them one by one. From Test 1,
everyday conversation about preparing for a trip. Pack light. Bring only what you need. Example, I'm only taking a backpack for this weekend trip. I like to pack light. Double check. Verify something again. Example, I'm going to double check my passport before leaving for the airport. All set. Ready to go. Example, I'm all set for the meeting, just waiting for it to start. From Test 2, short story with a surprise or confession. Spill the beans. Reveal a secret. Okay, I'll spill the beans. I got the job. Gotta. Contraction of got to, meaning have to. Example, I gotta finish this report before lunch. No way. Expression of disbelief. No way! You met the singer in person? From Test 3, personal reflection or life goal. Wanna. Contraction of want to. Example, I want to learn how to cook Thai food. Step back. Pause to think about something from a distance. Example, sometimes you need to step back and rethink your priorities. Make it happen. Take action to achieve something. I've always wanted to start a podcast, and this year I'll make it happen. From Test 4, curious tip or little-known trick. Get the scoop. Learn the latest news or secret. Call me after the meeting. I want to get the scoop. Crank up. Increase the level or intensity. Let's crank up the volume so everyone can hear. Give it a shot. Try something. I've never played tennis before, but I'll give it a shot. From Test 5, moment of action or immediate decision. It's go time. The moment to start has arrived. Example, we've trained for months, now it's go time. Let's roll. Motivating way to say, let's start moving. Like grab your bag, let's roll. We've got one shot, only one chance to do something. We've got one shot at winning this match.
Quick sound review. We also worked on recognizing and producing reductions and linking sounds. Gotta, got to becomes one quick sound. Wanna, want to becomes wanna. Let's roll. Quick T sound blends into R. Grab your with a softer your. This is it becomes this it in fast speech. Quick-fire repeat challenge, natural speed. Here's your rapid-fire drill. Listen or read and repeat each sentence exactly as it would be spoken in natural conversation. I gotta pack light or I won't fit everything in my bag. You want to step back and think about this for a second. We've got one shot at this, so let's make it happen. Crank up the heat. I want this pasta boiling now. It's go time. Everyone in position. Say each one 3 times. First slowly for accuracy, then medium speed, then full natural speed. Extended practice suggestions. How to keep training every day. The key to mastering fast English is consistent, focused exposure. Here are some strategies to integrate into your daily routine. Active listening with real media. Watch TV shows, movies, or YouTube channels where people speak quickly, naturally, and with authentic expressions. Don't use subtitles right away. Try to catch the meaning first,
Then check yourself by turning them on. Shadowing practice. Choose a short clip, 10 to 20 seconds, play it, and repeat exactly what you hear in real time, matching rhythm, intonation, and linking. This is one of the fastest ways to build listening and speaking coordination. Daily Idiom Challenge. Pick one idiom or reduction each day, like let's roll or wanna, and use it at least 3 times in conversations or self-practice sentences. Write and speak. Summarize a short story or personal reflection out loud. Then write it down. Focus on using at least 2 expressions we covered today. Record yourself once or twice a week. Record yourself repeating a listening clip at natural speed. Compare your recording with the original, listening for stress, reductions, and connected speech. Simulate urgency. Create scenarios where you must speak fast and clearly. For example, pretend you have only 10 seconds to explain directions or give someone urgent instructions. Use action phrases like, "It's go time," or "Grab your gear." Join conversations. Whether online or in person, engage with native speakers in group discussions. Fast speech often happens when multiple people are involved, so practicing in that environment builds real-world listening agility. Mindset for continuous improvement. Remember, fluency in fast English is not about understanding every single word in real time. Even native speakers miss words in noisy or chaotic situations. It's about catching the key ideas, responding naturally, and gradually filling in more details as your ear gets sharper. Finally, keep the motivation high. Every time you understand a fast sentence you wouldn't have caught a month ago, celebrate that win. Every time you use a new phrase like "give it a shot" or "step back" naturally in conversation, you've made progress. Fluency isn't built in one big leap. It's dozens of small, consistent steps. So as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this last challenge. Tomorrow, find one situation, even a small one, where you can listen actively, respond naturally, and use at least one expression from today. That's how you'll keep moving forward, day after day, until fast English feels like second nature.
All right, my friends, we've reached the end of today's session, and I want to leave you with something that will keep you going long after this recording stops. Understanding fast English is not magic. It's not about some secret talent or special ability that only a few people have. It's about training your ears every single day. Just like an athlete builds speed and strength through regular practice, you build your listening power and speaking agility by showing up consistently and engaging with real, natural English again and again. It's a process of small, daily victories, where each one builds on the last until suddenly you realize you're keeping up with conversations you used to find overwhelming. That moment will come, and the way to reach it is exactly what you're doing right now. I want you to understand something important. Every time you listen to fast English, even if you feel lost, you are improving. Your brain is learning patterns, rhythms, and sounds, even if you don't consciously notice it. And when you repeat those listening experiences, The words start to connect, the gaps begin to fill, and the sentences flow into meaning. That's why I want to invite you to repeat this episode as many times as you want. Don't think of it as repeating in a boring way. Think of it as deep training. The second time you listen, you'll catch more details than the first. The third time, you might start predicting what's coming next. By the fourth time, you might feel like you're shadowing me, speaking along almost in sync. That's when you know it's working. You might be tempted to move on quickly, but repetition is one of the most powerful tools for mastering fast speech. Think about a song you love. At first, you only catch certain words or phrases. After hearing it several times, you can sing along without even thinking. Fast English works the same way. The more your ears hear it, the more your brain locks onto it and processes it effortlessly. So I challenge you to listen to this episode not just once, but 2, 3, even 5 times. Use it as your personal training track, a place where you know the challenge is tough but safe, and where you can measure your progress with each repetition. Before we wrap up, I want you to hold on to the energy we built today. You faced fast, natural English, and you didn't walk away. You leaned in, you engaged, you repeated, and you pushed yourself. That determination is exactly what will make you unstoppable in your listening journey. Every single day you spend even 5 or 10 minutes listening to real speech, you're building that invisible muscle of comprehension. And every day you choose to push yourself just a little further, you're getting closer to the point where fast English no longer scares you, it excites you. As for what's next, let me give you a little preview of the next episode. We're going to tackle situations where fast English comes at you from multiple voices, like group conversations, panel discussions, and heated debates. You'll get the chance to train your ears to pick out individual speakers, catch quick changes in topic, and respond without feeling lost. It's going to be challenging, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. And I promise you, you'll walk away from it feeling like you've leveled up yet again. So until then, keep your ears open, keep your curiosity alive, and remember, every moment you spend listening is a step forward. Don't wait for the perfect time to practice. Make today the time. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep going. You're not just learning English. You're building a skill that will connect you with people, stories, and opportunities all over the world. And I can't wait to see how far you'll go.